So check this out, people. Please excuse the background noise because the Philippines is very active. People actually do things. Children play outside. People play music. Dogs are barking, all kinds of noise in the background. But that's part of life here. Unlike back home in the US, where unfortunately children don't play outside anymore, and most people can't even afford to sit outside in front of their own porches or outside of their own homes because it even costs too much to do that. So let's talk GME. I'm trying to understand, right, why it is that these AMC pumpers who have been pumping AMC for the past, I don't know, 4 years, who had nothing to do with GME. And I can mention a whole bunch of them, because if you go on YouTube, those who have been following this whole AMC and GME fiasco, they know who the AMC pumpers are, and they know who the GME pumper is, because there's only one, right? I mean, there are people who have been pumping GME, but have also been pumping other stocks. And the only one person who pumps GME on YouTube and everywhere else is Marantz Rants. Now, I know a lot of people get mad at me because I go after Marantz Rants. The problem is that he's the only one pumping this nonsense. And since he's the only one pumping this nonsense about GME going to the moon, this is the only reason it's him that I talk about, because there's no one else really until now. And so you have these young scumbags, right, who got here yesterday, who jumped on the AMC bandwagon because they know that's the way to get views, right? You got this young kid, Mikey's Money, who's about 19 years old, who lives with his mother and who's always talking about putting his life savings into AMC. Of course, you can put your life savings into AMC because your life savings is your weekly paycheck that you can afford to put into AMC because you live with your mother and you don't pay bills and you have no responsibilities. Unlike grown-ups who have mortgages and car payments and all kind of other bills to pay, when they actually put their life savings into AMC, it's their life savings that they're putting into AMC. The money that they've saved throughout their lifetime, not that they saved yesterday from their weekly paycheck and then call it their life savings when they have no bills to pay. And so you got people like this kid, right, who's a young scammer who came along now and is jumped on the bandwagon and is doing what everyone else has been doing, is scamming people so that they can get the views, the Patreons, and all this other nonsense. And it's a shame that these young kids, rather than focusing on other ways to grow their channel, they're doing it through scams. And so now people like this kid are jumping onto the GME bandwagon, who they've never talked about GME before. You notice this? That the very same AMC pumpers who have been pumping AMC for 4 years, they've never pumped GME. Now that there's this whole excitement about GME, now they've jumped onto the GME bandwagon because that's what pays their bills, or rather, that's what pays them. Because a lot of these people don't even got bills to pay. They live with their mom. And then they want to come onto my channel and think that they're going to disrespect me, that I'm going to be like a little bitch and cry about it, when in fact, I'm going to come at them the same way they come at me. Because I'm a grown man and I do grown man things, right? And so you got these people who are now jumping on the AMC, well, the GME bandwagon, right? Because AMC is not doing anything. AMC is dormant. AMC is asleep. So Now that GME has been pumping, right? Now these same AMC pumpers have jumped onto the GME bandwagon, and they have something new to talk about. Because when AMC doesn't go to the moon, everybody knows it's not going to go to the moon. They have to jump onto a new narrative. And the new narrative is GME. And GME is now giving them something new to talk about, something exciting for their viewers, so that their viewers can continue to tune into their channels and continue to pay their bills, right? And so I'm trying to understand, right, this. We're going to move on to Roaring Kitty, right? Roaring Kitty, I believe, is making a mistake by coming onto YouTube and exposing his position on GME. I think he made a mistake because there was a time when retail investors were able to fight against the market makers and win because the market makers didn't know the play. But when you give the play to your enemy and you tell your enemy, this is what I'm going to do, this is my playbook. If you're watching football, the football coach doesn't hand his playbook to hit the opposing team. He doesn't do that. Because if he does that, the opposing team is going to intercept all his plays. And so I believe that Roaring Kitty made a mistake when he exposed his play to the short sellers, to the market makers, because now they have his playbook. And they can now in turn intercept his play by causing the stock to tank. You people don't believe or think that these market makers are in planning, are in banding together to fight back against those who are trying to take their millions, their billions, their legacy, their empire. You think they're just sitting around, not doing anything, not planning, not making phone calls? These people are billionaires, and they have friends in high places. They have friends in government. They have friends in the FBI, the CIA, the SEC. They have everyday friends that you and I could never imagine. And so you honestly believe that they're not going to fight back against those who are trying to take what's theirs? It's just funny how these YouTubers and these scumbags who come on my channel and think that they can disrespect me because I'm actually being realistic about the market. You see, none of these people who make comments on my channel and think that they're disrespecting me have made any money in GME. None of them. None of these GME pumpers have made money in GME. The only ones who have made money in GME are those who have sold. The only ones. This is why Marantz Rants is at a huge loss, because all he does is hold the stock to the moon and then encourage his followers to hold to the moon, and it's costing these people thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I believe and I hope that the day comes when people like him get sued. They get sued by the same people who watch them, even though they have a disclaimer. The disclaimer is not going to save them, just like the disclaimer didn't save me, Kevin, from getting sued. Because you got these people who take advantage of novice investors. If you want to hold to the moon and lose everything you got, go ahead. But when you try to encourage novice investors who have no idea what they're doing, and you encourage that, then you should be held liable. You should be held liable. Not just Marantz Rants, but all of these scumbags who are now jumping onto the bandwagon, who are now feeding into the nonsense. The fact is that Roaring Kitty could care less about those who are watching, those who are encouraging him, or rather following him, because you guys are not encouraging him. He's encouraging you. He's encouraging you to continue to buy and hold so that he in turn could sell at a huge profit. So my question to you scumbags on YouTube who come onto my channel and try to disrespect me because I tell you to get your money to take your profits. Why don't you get mad at Roaring Kitty when he sells in the millions, in the billions, and gets his profits, gets his money? Why don't you get mad at him when the only one who seems to be winning is him, and those that watch him are the only ones who are losing because you idiots are the only ones holding to the moon. And when someone like me comes along and says, get your money, take your profits, you want to get mad. You want to get mad. While Roaring Kitty is making a fool out of himself on national TV and on YouTube and on all social media, it's not because he's making a fool out of himself. It's because he's making a fool out of those who are watching him. And you people believe and think that he's doing you a favor, when in reality, you're doing him a favor. You're doing Roaring Kitty a favor by helping him become richer than what he already is. And you think he's doing it for you. Why don't you get mad at him once he sells all of those options, all of those call options that he has in the billions of dollars? Why don't you get mad at him? Why do you get mad at me when I sell in the thousands of dollars or the hundreds of dollars or the $50? Why should you people even give a fuck about me selling or me telling my viewers and those who follow me to take their profits? Instead, you want to get mad. So, before you come on my channel, ask yourselves, how much money have you made holding to the moon? How much money have you made listening to Marantz Rants and these other scumbags who have jumped onto the bandwagon, the GME bandwagon? How much money have you made versus what Ryan Cohen has made for GME, what Roaring Kitty has made for himself? And tell me, mention to me, how many other people have become rich off of GME holding to the moon, other than Roaring Kitty and Ryan Cohen? Because none of you people who have held to the moon have made any money. And the only reason why you hold is because you have had such a loss that you have to try and hope that you can at least break even and get your money. So yeah, come and leave a comment, leave your stupid comment so that I can come at you and your mother for disrespecting me. And tell me how many of you people have made money on GME, on holding GME, and how many people, short sellers, have made millions of dollars by shorting GME. The fact is that I could care less about GME. GME doesn't pay my bills. Ryan Cohen doesn't pay my bills. Roaring Kitty doesn't pay my bills. So I'm not here for anybody but myself. I'm here to pay my own bills. So instead of you people paying Roaring Kitty's bills and Ryan Cohen's bills and GME's bills, grow the fuck up, get your money, and pay your own damn bills.